Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dharmat Pranam. I have two devotees who wanted to join this class. They said to forward. Is it okay?
Means they
Forward
are
the link.
registered, Mataji, they want to register for Bhakti Vaibhav, or they just want to hear?
They had time today, so they wanted to hear. Actually, they are also in class with Prahlad Anand Prabhu.
Okay.
So they know that I've been attending, and so today I was talking to them, and they said, "Can we listen today?" I said, "I'll
Sure.
find out."
Sure, Mataji. Forward the Zoom.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for your valuable association. I hope my voice is audible. Thank you, Sadamani Mataji. Okay, so we'll start with our Srimad Bhagavatam study. Let's offer our Mangalacharan prayers and then we'll go ahead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमस्ते पंकज forgetting the verse. What it is?
Namaste Pankajnetraya.
Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, everyone. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं हम वन्दे श्री गुरु दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय all the assembled Vaishnavas की जय. So thank you so much. So we are in the 4th chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll share my, okay, before that, we have already discussed in the last class that how Suta Goswami was in Naimisharanya and Shaunak Rishi, who was representing all the 88,000 sages, he on behalf of all those sages, asked 6 questions, and those 6 questions were very well answered by Suta Goswami. Bhagavatam doesn't stop there, and this shows the eagerness in the heart of devotees where they want to hear more and more Krishna Katha. So they asked further questions, and then as Suta Goswami told about Srimad Bhagavatam, that how Bhagavatam is Amal Puran, the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, and how in Kali Yuga, this Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the sun that is dissipating all the darkness, all the ignorance from the hearts of all the people in Kali Yuga. So hearing this, all the sages of Naimisharanya, they asked Suta Goswami that now, since you already spoke about Srimad Bhagavatam, that dharma will take shelter in Srimad Bhagavatam, we want to hear Srimad Bhagavatam in detail. So they said, they congratulated Suta Goswami, and we already, Mataji very nicely mentioned that how some varished person, some elderly person should congratulate on behalf of the entire congregation. And so Shaunak Rishi, who was representing all the sages, he congratulated Suta Goswami, he thanked him, but then he said that we all are very eager to hear more and more Krishna Katha. And please don't stop. And then he asked further 3 questions. And the answers to these 3 questions will be the entire first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have seen that how just on the basis of question and answers, these entire scriptures are noted down, because we see that how Parikshit Maharaj asked questions, and therefore this Srimad Bhagavatam comes in. And when Suta Goswami went to Naimisharanya, these sages asked questions, and therefore, again, the Bhagavatam was repeated. And even Bhagavad Gita, it's all the question and answer sessions. It's all a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. So how important it is to ask questions. But again, those questions should not be asked just to check the the qualification of a speaker. Rather, the questions should be asked in a very submissive mode, and also so that we get enlightened, so that we are all on the right path. That's why we ask questions, even to our spiritual masters, when we ask questions, because we want to progress. It's not that we are checking on the qualification or testing Srila Gurudev. That's not the mood. If that is the mood, even the spiritual master knows and he'll keep quiet. But if the mood is really to progress, then the spiritual master opens his heart, and that also helps the disciple to progress. So similarly, here also, the Shaunaka Rishi, all the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka, they were asking these questions to Suta Goswami. So now, I know these 3 questions were very well covered by Mataji in the last class, that is Thursday, right? Yeah. So anyone can raise their hand and let us know what were the 3 further questions that were asked by Shaunak Rishi. Yes, Sadamni Mataji, Madhurya Mai Mataji, and one more hand I want. Narhari Prabhu. Okay. Yes, Sadamni Mataji, go ahead with the first question.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. The first question was about Srimad Bhagavatam, that when, where, and how, and on whose inspiration this Bhagavatam was compiled.
Perfect. So
Why Vyasdev compiled it?
Huh? What, Mataji?
Yeah, on whose inspiration did Vyasdev compile Bhagavatam?
Very nice. So because Suta Goswami touched upon that important part of Srimad Bhagavatam, that dharma will take shelter in Srimad Bhagavatam, in relation to that only, all the Shaunakadi rishis, they pose their first question that now, because we have spoken about Srimad Bhagavatam, we want to know when, where, how this Srimad Bhagavatam comes into picture, and under whose inspiration Srila Vyasadev compiled it. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Madhura Mai Mataji. Second question.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. So second question was regarding Shukadev Goswami. Sages wanted to know, since Shukadev Goswami was such a great sage and he never stayed at a householder's place for more than the time the cow was milked, then how did he reach Hastinapur and how did the citizens recognize him?
Excellent. Thank you, Mataji. But you said third question. Anyway, that's not a problem. But yes,
That's
this
right.
was one of the questions that about Sukadev Goswami. They want to ask that how he went to Hastinapur and how the conversation took place, how he met Parikshit Maharaj, and this conversation took place in Hastinapur. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Narhari Prabhu, what was the second question?
The second question I thought was about Sukadev Goswami, and the third question was about Maharaj Parikshit.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. Then maybe sorry, Mataji, Madurai Mai Mataji. Yeah, go ahead with the third question, Narhari Prabhu.
The question is about the listener, which is the Maharaj Parikshit of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So sages ask, like, he was a first class devotee from the time of his birth, and he was the Rajarishi, meaning he was the representative of all the people. And then in that position, why did he give that up and then sit down to fast until death on the banks of the holy river and listen to this great dialogue?
Dialogue that happened, yes. Thank you, Narhari Prabhu. So the third question they asked was of Parikshit Maharaj, about his birth, about his activities, how he is known as Vishnu Rata, that means how he was protected by Krishna. They didn't know, but all about his birth and activities, and of course, how he, being a saintly king, Rajarishi, he renounced everything and sat on the bank of Ganges and heard this entire Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadev Goswami. So yes, Madurai Mataji, I'm so sorry to just pinpoint that. Yes, you said
No problem, Mataji.
yeah, because I was reflecting on the answers because when Sutta Goswami was answering, he first answered about Srimad Bhagavatam, about Vyasadeva, how and where he did it, under whose inspiration he compiled it. And then he answered about the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. And third, he answers about the Sukadev Goswami, that how this meeting took place between Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. But while asking questions, the first question was about Bhagavatam, second was of Sukadev Goswami, and third was of Parikshit Maharaj. Perfect. So I'll share my screen now and we'll move forward with the next verse, because next verse starts the answer of Sutta Goswami on Srimad Bhagavatam. So he wants to answer now about Bhagavatam verse. Okay, Sutta Vacha. I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, perfect. Sutta Vacha Dwapare Samanuprapte Tritya Yuga Parayaye Jata Parasharat Yogi Vasavyam Kalayahare. Anybody wants to read the translation?
Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Prashra in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So Dwapare Samanuprapte. So Dwapare means the second millennium, that is Dwapar Yuga. In the second millennium, so Dwapare, that is Dwapar Yuga, and it says Samanuprapte. Samanuprapte means at the advent of Tritiya Yuga Paraye. So Tritiya Yuga refers to the third Sandhya. Okay, so this we have to understand that how Pralaya, Tritiya Yuga Parayaye. Parayaye means the lapse. So that means already so many Divya Yugas have passed. Means Krita Yuga, that is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. All these yugas have passed. So many, with the lapse of many yuga cycles. Now in Dwapar Yuga, what happened? When Krishna appeared, we know that how Krishna appeared in Dwapar Yuga. Then in this Dwapar Yuga, Krishna appeared and Vyasadeva was born. Okay. So Krishna, we know that he appeared in Dwapar Yuga of the 28th cycle. So we discussed this also in the previous classes, that how one kalpa, one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 Satya Yugas, 1,000, basically 1,000 Divya Yugas. And one Divya Yuga is one Satya, one Treta, one Dwapar, and one Kali. One of all these yugas together, combined with together, they are known as one Divya Yuga. And 1,000 such Divya Yugas makes one day of Brahma. That is one Kalpa. And in these 1,000 yugas, there are 14 Manus. Okay. So right now it is the 7th Manu that is going on. And in that 7th Manu, that is Vaivasvata Manvantara, in the 28th cycle of Dwapar Yuga, Krishna appeared. Okay. So all the yugas, then they are divided into 3 parts. So the first part, when the yuga starts, whether it's Satya, Treta, Dwapar, or Yuga, or Kali, whichever yuga it is. But when the first part of the yuga, that is known as Sandhya Rupa, because it combines with the previous yuga and then the start of a new yuga. So that is Sandhya Rupa. Sandhi ho jati hai dono mein. So that is known as Sandhya Rupa, Sandhya Rupa. And that is considered to be 0.1%, basically 10%, you can say, 10% of the entire yuga. So the first Sandhya Rupa, it lasts only for the 10% of the entire yuga. Then comes the middle part, that is known as Yuga Rupa. That consists of 80%. So 90% gone. And then the last charam, that is the final part of that yuga, which is known as Sandhyamsha Rupa. That is known as, that is considered to be the 10%, remaining 10%. Okay, so the beginning portion is known as Sandhya Rupa, the middle portion is known as Yuga Rupa, and the end portion is known as Sandhyamsha Rupa. So in this Dwapar Yuga, in the Sandhyamsha Rupa, means in the last part, then what happened? Vyasadeva was born. And Vyasadeva was born. It says Vasavyam Kalaha Hari. So Vasavyam means this Vyasadeva, he took shelter in the womb of the daughter of Vasu. Okay, so daughter of Vasu, whose name was Uparichara Vasu. Yeah, Uparichara Vasu. He was a fisherman. In his daughter Satyavati, her womb, Vyasadeva took shelter. So that is what is the meaning of, here the verse says, Vasavyam Kala Hari. Vasavyam means in the womb of the daughter of Vasu. And who was the daughter of Vasu? That is Satyavati. So when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parashar in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. So that is the point that is given, that how Vyasadeva came into being. So Prabhupada writes, there is a chronological order of the 4 millenniums, namely Satya, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali, but sometimes there is overlapping. During the regime of Vaivasvata Manu, there was an overlapping of the 28th round of the 4 millenniums and the 3rd millennium prior to the 2nd. In that particular millennium, that is in Dwapar Yuga, Lord Krishna also descends. And because this was for some particular alteration, so the mother of the great sage was Satyavati and the daughter of Vasu, Upacharir Vasu, and he was a fisherman. And the father was great Parashar Muni. So we know this pastime also from Srimad Bhagavatam, that how this Satyavati job was to take all the people, cross the river in the boat. She used to do it. And once she took Parashar Muni, and then Parashar Muni, because he was Trikaldarshi, he knows, He knows the present, past, and future. So he told Satyavati that this is how I give you one child. But she was thinking that I'm unmarried. How can I accept the child? And then he said, no, nothing will happen. Your virginity still will not be lost. And this child, but will help you in the future because the entire future beholds on you, because you will get married to the king, King Shantanu. So then this Vyasadeva was born, and we know that how when Chitrangda, the son of Satyavati, Chitrangda and Vichitravirya, they both died, and there was no one to take care of the entire kingdom of Hastinapur. And then Vyasadeva was called, and then he helped Ambika and Ambalika to get Dhritarashtra and Pandu. So because this was supposed to happen, so he gave the mother of the great, so he gave Satyavati this Vyasadeva, this boy Vyasadeva. So that is the history of Vyasadev's birth, and every millennium is divided into 3 periods, and each period is known as Sandhya. And we know that the first is known as Sandhya Rupa, then comes Yuga Rupa, and then comes Sandhyamsha Rupa. That is known as Sandhya, and Vyasadeva appeared in the 3rd Sandhya of that particular age. In the Sandhyamsha Rupa, he appeared in that Dwapar Yuga. So now comes text 15. Sakadajit, yes, Divyangi Lalita Mataji, you have question?
Yes, Mataji, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says 3rd millennium appeared prior to the 2nd. And also like in the word to word, Dwapare is said as the 2nd millennium. But like in order, it comes as a 3rd, right, Mataji, coming from the top, like Satya, Treta, and Dwapar. And Prabhupada is also saying the 3rd millennium appeared prior to the 2nd. So, like, what does that mean, Mataji? Order got changed that time?
So, actually, the entire chronological order is actually Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. So, Krita, and then comes Krita, that is Satya, then comes Treta, then comes Dwapar, and then comes Kali. Now, Prabhupada, he has mentioned, normally it is, but Prabhupada has mentioned that in this particular Kalpa, what happened was Dwapara came, and Prabhupada says the chronological millennium is Satya, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. Okay. Now, this thing has only mentioned by Prabhupada and only in this purport. Only in this purport, Prabhupada has mentioned that this is the chronological order. In the rest of the purports throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, you will see that Prabhupada has written Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. Okay. Now, there is no reason. Sorry?
No, I was just agreeing with what you said, Mataji.
So there is no, actually the chronological order never changes. Okay. But again, why Prabhupada has written this? So this question was asked even to His Holiness Bhanu Swami by one of the senior devotee. And there also His Holiness Bhanu Swami said that they were not able to find any reference to this, that why Srila Prabhupada had in this purport has mentioned that the chronological order is Satya, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. Actually, the order is like Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. Again, why it is, I have no answer. Even His Holiness Bhanu Swami didn't answer. So definitely I will also not be able to answer this question. But we have to understand that whatever the case is, Vyasadeva, because this is the question asked for Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva appeared in the 3rd Sandhya of Dwapar Yuga. That is how only we have to stick to. Okay, Divyangi Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much.
Yes, Narhari Prabhu.
Mataji, with your permission, if I can,
Yeah,
the
go
way
ahead. Go ahead.
The way I understood it, Mataji, and you also alluded to this, is the Sandhya is whatever comes. Sandhya means the joint, right? Like so,
Yeah.
the first Sandhya comes after the Dwapar, after the Satya Yuga, and Dwapara means two, Triti or Treta is like three. So Satya, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. So when I read this purport and I looked at and I tried to understand the names, the way I understood it from this purport is for every out of the Divya Yugas, 1,000 Divya Yugas in one day of Brahma, it is Satya, Dwapar, Treta, Kali. But because in this particular um, Chatur Yuga, because Lord Krishna is coming, that is why the order was switched. That is what Prabhupada was saying, and that is what I understood. Is that a correct understanding, Mataji?
So you are saying that Dwapar is the second millennium and Treta is the third millennium.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, if we are agreeing to what Prabhupada's purport is, then definitely that makes complete sense. But actually it is, okay, let's see. Okay, yes, Prabhu, that makes complete sense. Yes, Sankari Khor Mataji, you want to add something before I say something? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my most respectful obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and my pranams to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis here. Mataji, I've heard His Grace Pran Govinda Prabhu talk about it. So he also said this. I really don't remember the detail that he mentioned, but he does say that Satya and Dwapar, as Prabhu just said, Dwapar actually comes from Dvi, which is two, and Treta actually comes from three, which is third. So actually the real order is Satya, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. But something actually happens in that particular Chaturyuga cycle. There was some incident that happened because of which Dwapar and Treta was changed for that particular Divya Yuga. So he mentioned that incident, but I don't remember what really happened. But he also said that if we look by the origin of the word, actually Dwapar comes before Treta. So second and third, but there was some incident that triggered this change, but I'm not able to recall. Mataji, I'll reach out to her and I'll ask this question to him. And whenever I get an answer, I'll be glad to share in the group with your due permission, Mataji. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Sankari Mataji. So,
Mataji, may have one point to add. But when we when we talk, we say in the end of Kali, the Bhagavatam has raised. So in
not
in
the end
Bhagavatam,
of Kali, not
I'm
end
sorry,
of
the beginning of the Kali. Sorry, Mataji. The big end of Dwapara and beginning of Kali. If you say so, then there is another thing coming in between. One big yuga is coming in between. Then the confusion begins, Mataji. That is how I looked at it.
Yeah. So, see, this is a Bhakti Vaibhav course. And what you all said is, of course, I'll agree. And somehow I'll say that, okay, let me just clarify this. Actually, the chronological order is always Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. Only and only in this purport. You will see in the future purport, if we go beyond, that Prabhupada says that it's Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. It's only and exclusively in this purport that Prabhupada mentions that it is Satya, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. Again, why he said, there is no reason. If you search, people say that because of Ahilya, that Lord Ramachandra has to come, and therefore Treta came before, and because of which Dwapar was shifted. But again, that also doesn't make any sense because that episode happens 2 kalpas before. It was not that this Treta only Lord Ramachandra came. This is 28th and Ramachandra came in 26th. Okay, so that also gets refuted. I can share you one Bhagavatam verse only, just for your clarification. Point 39. If you are able to see this. So this is the verse that talks about Kritam Treta Dwaparam Cha Kalischeti Chaturyugam Anena Krama Yogena Bhuvi Pranishu Vartate. So Kritam. Kritam means Satya Yuga. Kritam also means 4. Treta means 3. Dwaparam means 2. Chakali, that is Kali Yuga, Cheti, all these 4, they are Chatur Yugam, they are 4 yugas. So Kritam, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. Anena Krama Yogena, and with this Krama only, Bhuvi Pranishu Vartate, they goes on. So the cycle of 4 ages, that is Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, continuous perpetually among living beings on this earth, repeating the same general sequence of events. Again, this is Srimad Bhagavatam. This is translation. Of course, it is not by Srila Prabhupada, but it is by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. But this is what even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says. And Jiva Goswami also agrees to this, that it is Kritam. Now, why Kritam, Treta, Dwapar, Kali? So we have to understand, suppose Kali Yuga, if the duration of Kali is X, I'm not going with the numbers. I'm just giving you that if Kali Yuga is X years, then Dwa means 2 times. So the 2 times of Kali Yuga, that is 2x, is Dwapar Yuga. Then comes Treta, which is 3 times. Treta means 3. 3 times of Kali Yuga. And Kritam, Krita also means 4. 4 times of Kali Yuga. So that is what the explanation is given. I don't want to bring up this point because, again, it will create a lot of controversy. It's a gray area. But why Prabhupada has written that the chronological order here is Satya, Dwapar, Treta and Kali, there is no answer to it. But usually the order never changes. It's always Krita Yuga, that is Satya Yuga, then Treta Yuga, then Dwapar Yuga, then Kali Yuga. Okay, but let's not go into all this because again, it's a gray area. So, and Prabhupada has, in the future purports, Prabhupada has also mentioned that it is always Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. But why should not we spend most of the time here? Because what we have to understand is the birth, is the appearance of Srila Vyasadeva. And that appearance of Srila Vyasadeva happened in the 3rd Sandhya of Dwapar Yuga. That we have to understand. As Mataji also mentioned, that it's after Dwapar Yuga and the start of Kali Yuga. So that means Dwapar and Kali has to be together. There should not be a whole Yuga coming in between. But at the end of the Dwapar Yuga and the start of Kali Yuga and the 3rd Sandhya of Dwapar Yuga, that Srila Vyasadeva comes into being. Okay. Yes, Praladananda Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just supporting what you said. Is also Bhagavatam in 12.3.52, it's saying Krutayadhyayato Vishnu Tritayam Yajate Makhe. There also is this order is there. And in that purport there, Srila Prabhupada also mentions about Brihad Naradya Puran, where the same chronology is explained. So I just wanted to support that. Thank you.
12.3.52. I can share that verse also.
I already put it in chat.
Yeah, you have put it. Yeah. Krite yadhyayato Vishnu. So that is given the ways to achieve, that is self-realization. So in the Krita Yoga, that is Satya Yoga, people used to meditate. In Treta Yoga, it is Yajato Makhe, that is Yajna used to be get performed. In Dwapar Yoga, the deity worship, Haricharyayam, and in Kali Yoga, it's Kirtana, it is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, so let's not go into all that, but thank you for your reference also from Praladananda Prabhu and all the devotees who have given their input. But we have to understand that we have to just see that when Vyasadeva appeared, and that is in the 3rd Sandhya of Dwapar Yuga. So let's go with the next verse. Sa kadachit sarasvatya upaprisya jalam shuchi vivikta eka asina udate ravi mandale. Somebody can read the translation.
Prabhupada ki jai. Once upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, he took his morning ablution in the waters of Saraswati, and then he sat alone. So now this has also been mentioned that by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So sa kadachit sarasvatya upaprishya. Upasprisya means it has two meanings. One is that he sipped water from the river Saraswati, and that means he did achaman. But upasprisya also means to do the morning duties like taking bath and all that things. Jalam shuchihi. So it can mean both the things. Either he took bath and he cleansed externally, or he sipped water and he did his achaman. Okay, so after finishing his morning duties, he did his achaman or morning ablution in the waters of Saraswati, and then he sat alone. He sat with concentrating his mind. Vivikta ek asina, ek hi asan par baitkar, sitting on one seat, he meditated or he concentrated. Udate Ravi Mandale, and it was the morning time. Ravi Mandale means the sun has just arisen. Now, Prabhupada, he writes in the purport that the river Saraswati is flowing in the Badrik Ashram area of the Himalayas. So, because this Saraswati river flows only in the Badrik Ashram, therefore, because it says that he was sitting where? He was sitting on the bank of Saraswati. So, the place indicated here is that it is Shamya Prasa in the Badrik Ashram where Srila Vyasadeva is still residing. So yes, there is a beautiful temple still existing there, and it is being explained. I came across one of the devotee, one of my god sister only, where she went and this place only, Shamya Prasa, she went and in the Badrik Ashram, and she went to the temple of Vyasadeva. And there the pujari told her that till date, Vyasadeva comes here. So he is still present. So where Srila Vyasadeva is still reciting. Okay, let's move on. We'll quickly go through these verses because there is not much to talk about. Paravrajnana Sarishi Kalena Vyaktaram Hasa Yuga Dharma Vyatikaram Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge. Somebody can read the translation.
The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happened on the earth in different ages due to the unseen force of time.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So Srila Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. That means he knew that something is going wrong. See the third line, it says Yuga Dharma Vyatikaran. Yuga Dharma Vyatikaran means that the destruction of the dharma of the yugas happened with time. Dharma also gets destroyed with time. So, and he could see, because again, Vyasadeva was also Trikaldarshi. He could see the past, present, and future. So he could see that now coming Kali Yuga, all these anomalies will happen. People will give up their dharmic things, dharmic activities, and he could see. And therefore, he could see the unseen force of time. Due to unseen force of time, he could see that all the problems are coming in the coming yuga. So purport, Prabhupada writes that the great sages like Vyasadeva, they are liberated souls. They are Trikaladarshi. And therefore, they can see clearly the past, present, and future. Thus, he could see the future anomalies of the Kali Yuga, and accordingly, he made arrangement for the people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this stage, which is full of darkness. The people in general in this age of Kali Yuga much interested in matter, which is temporary. And because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life. So the assets of our life is not the possessions that we carry, but the real asset of life is our breaths and how we use these breaths in remembering Krishna, in chanting Krishna's name. This is the real asset. But we all know that in Kali Yuga, we have forgotten this. And we are only hankering and running after material things which are temporary. So, and therefore, because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. So Vyasadeva was Suhrid. He was a well-wisher. He was the friend of everyone. So therefore, he was the friend of everyone. Therefore, he got this compassion in his heart and he wanted to do something so that the people in Kali Yuga should also be spiritually enlightened. So what he did, first, what problems he saw, what anomalies he saw, that we will see in this text 17 and 18. भौतिकानां च भावानां शक्तिरिषां च सत्कृतम् अश्रद्धधानं निःसत्त्वान् दुर्मेधान् हरिष्यति आयुषः दुर्भागंश्च जनं वीक्ष्य मुनिर्दिव्येन चक्षुषा सर्ववर्णाश्रमां यद् दधौ हितम् अमोघदृक्. So our Vyasadeva was Amoghadrik. He was fully equipped in knowledge. Okay, our Vyasadeva was Amoghadrik. He was fully equipped in knowledge. And therefore, with this transcendental vision that he saw. Okay, so let's read the purport, then I can explain you the verse. Sorry, translation, and then I can explain the verse in detail. Go ahead, somebody can read.
The great sage can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Parambrahma.
The great sage who was fully equipped in knowledge could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So that great sage who was fully equipped in knowledge, again, he was Amoghadrik. He was fully equipped in knowledge and he could see through his transcendental vision. And his transcendental vision is mentioned here that, Chakshusha, Divyena Chakshusha. So because Srila Vyasadeva has this Divya Chakshu, Munir Divyena Chakshusha. So therefore he was able to see what he could see. That everything, the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of age, bhautikanam cha bhavanam, because he was seeing that there is a deterioration that is going to happen, and he could also see that the faithless people in general, ashraddhadhanam, people will become faithless and they will be reduced in the duration of life. Duration of life means Shakti Hrisham. See, Shakti Hrisham cha. So there will be deterioration of their natural power and there will be also duration of their life. Ayusha, Rashiti, Rasita Ayusha. Their ayush, their duration of life will also be reduced. And they will be impatient. Why? Because there will be lack of goodness. Nih Sattvan. Sattvan means the goodness. But Nisatvan, because they will not be in the mode of goodness, so they will also become impatient. Thus he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life, because he was very, very compassionate. And also, not only that, Durbhagan. Also, it says he was Durbhagan. Durbhagan means the people will also be unlucky. So I like anybody can raise their hand that how we have discussed that these will be the problems of Kali Yuga. In the first canto, in the first chapter. Yes, Sadamani. Go ahead.
When we are reading Mataji, I was remembering that shloka. Prayana Alpa Ayusha. There are also qualities of Kali Yuga people were mentioned.
Say that verse.
Yes, Mataji. 1:10. Prayana Alpa Ayusha Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrutaha.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is already been told in the first chapter only we discussed. These are the qualities of Kali Yuga. That there will be their Ayush, Prayana Alpayush Sabhya, their duration of life will be less. Kalavasmin, there will be quarrel in this age of Kali. Manda Sumanda Matayo, people will be very lazy. They will be manda, and sumanda matayo, their mati, their intelligence will also be very misguided. They will be misguided. And manda bhagya, they will be very unlucky. They will be not having good fortune. And what is the good fortune? Good fortune is not just to have different kind of richly opulences, but good fortune is that how much we can connect to our sadhus, the real sadhus. So people will be very unlucky. And above all that, upadrita, they will be disturbed. So here also all these qualities have been mentioned. So Prabhupada writes, the unmanifested force of time, Krishna says, Kalo Asmi, is so powerful that they reduce all matter to oblivion in due course. In Kali Yuga, the last millennium of the round of 4 millenniums, the 4 yogas, the power of the material objects deteriorates by the influence of time. And in this age, the duration of the material body of the people in general is also much reduced. We know the longevity is very less as compared to Satya, Treta, and Dwapara. And so the memory is also very less. The action of matter also also not so much incentive. The land does not produce food grains in the same proportion as they did it in other ages. The cow does not give milk as it used to give formerly. The production of vegetables and fruits is less than before. So it looks like that we have advanced in Kali Yuga, but this advancement is actually not the real advancement. It's the deterioration. All living beings, both men and animals, do not have sumptuous, nourishing food. And due to want of so many necessities of life, naturally the duration of life is reduced and the memory is short, intelligence is meager, and mutual dealings are full of hypocrisy and so on. And great sage Vyasadeva, who was Amoghatrik, he could see by his Divya Chakshusha, by his transcendental vision. And Prabhupada writes, just as an astrologer, not a Kali Yuga astrologer, but the astrologer of other yugas who were very pure, can see the future fate of a man, or an astronomer can foretell the solar and the lunar eclipses. These liberated souls can also see throughout the scriptures and can foretell the future of all mankind. They can see this due to their sharp vision of spiritual attainment. So Vyasadeva, who was having this Divya Chakshusha, was also able to see that what is going to happen in Kali Yuga. People will become adharmic. So to bring them on to the right spiritual path, he did something so that everybody can be benefited. What he did, we will see in that next verse. But Prabhupada writes that all such transcendentalists who are naturally devotees of Lord. They are always eager to render the welfare service to the people in general. And in Bhagavad Gita also Prabhupada says that this is the highest welfare activity. And the highest welfare activity is to awaken Krishna consciousness in the heart of other people. That Krishna consciousness, which is always there in the heart of all the living entities, but it is in the dormant stage. It has to be awakened. So all these sadhus who walk on this earth, on this planet earth, they are walking for people, for the conditioned souls like us, so that our dormant Krishna consciousness can be awakened. So they are the real friends. They are the real Suhrit Sarva Bhutanam, who is Krishna, but they are carrying these qualities of Krishna in their heart. So they are the real friends of the people in general. Not so-called public leaders who claim themselves that they are the real friends of the people in general. They are not, because they are unable to see what has happened 5 minutes before, what is going to happen 5 minutes ahead. They cannot foresee this. So who can do this? A person who knows about the future, and a liberated soul like Srila Vyasadeva knows about this. So in this age, the people in general, as well as their so-called leaders, they are unlucky fellows, faithless in spiritual knowledge and influenced by the age of Kali. So imagine if these so-called people, they are also conditioned, they are bound. So how can we expect them to free us? Somebody who is free can help the person whose hands and legs are tied. If everybody's hands and legs are tied, then who can free them? Nobody can free. We cannot open our own hands. We cannot untie our own hands, so we cannot untie our own legs also. We are bound. And all these leaders, so-called political leaders, those who claim themselves to be the real friends of the people in general, they are also tied up. They are also conditioned. So they cannot liberate us. Then who can liberate? Only the person who is liberated, who is not tied up. And who are these people? These are the sadhus. These are the saintly people who still walk on this planet Earth for our welfare. They are always disturbed by various diseases. Yes, we are all disturbed by various diseases. Prabhupada gives this example. And when Prabhupada wrote this, at that time, maybe because this tuberculosis doesn't have any cure, but right now it has. So Prabhupada writes, in the present age, there are many TB patients and TB hospitals, but formerly this was not so because the time was not so favorable. Previously, TB was considered to be incurable disease, right? So the unfortunate men of this age are always reluctant to give a reception to the transcendentalists who are representatives of Srila Vyasadeva. So all our Guru Vargas, those who are lying in the disciplic succession, they are known as the representative of Srila Vyasadeva. And that is why their appearance day we celebrate as Vyasa Puja, right? And selfless, they are the selfless workers. They are always busy in planning something which may help everyone in all statuses and orders of life. And then Prabhupada writes, the greatest philanthropists, they are not the one who are, these days we find they are opening schools, hospitals. No, the greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represents the mission, who follow the mission, who makes the mission of Vyasa as their own mission. Who are they? Like Vyasadeva, Narada, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, and then he quotes about his own spiritual master, Srila Saraswati Thakur. They all are one and the same. And the personalities may be different, but the mission and the vision is the same. But the aim of the mission is one and the same, namely, what is to deliver the fallen souls, so Krishna, to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. That is their mission. That is the only mission, so that everybody can be delivered and they can go home, back to Godhead. Somebody has raised their hand. Praladananda Prabhu, was it?
Dandavat Mata, I just wanted to refer one beautiful sloka from 10th canto. It says, एतावात् जन्म साफल्यम देहिनाम देहिसु प्राणे अर्थे धिया वाचा श्रेयम आचरणम सदा. So this is the success of anyone's life who has taken body, is to do service to other. Prane arthe dhiya vacha. Any of these four. So this is very relevant here. Who is the real friend of other? That's
Yes.
why I just wanted to, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. So
It just
that
came
is
to
the
my mind.
highest, yeah, thank you, Prabhu. That is the highest welfare activity, where we help them to come into Krishna consciousness or to follow the process of Krishna consciousness. Yes, Bimal Prabhu.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. So one question I had, did Vyasadeva did not anticipate that Kali Yuga is the easiest way to go back to Godhead, like chant and go, that's it?
What, Prabhu? Sorry, I missed it.
No,
Yes.
no. Is the easiest way to go to back to Godhead, right? Chant and just go. There's nothing that much devotional service is needed, right? In Kali Yuga, it is
Yes.
easy in all the yugas. So he could not anticipate that
Of
Vyasadeva.
course he anticipated. Of course he anticipated. Why not? He gave
Okay.
this. He gave this. But what he did, see, we will see in the future verses, because the question was also this, right? What was the question? That when, where, how, and whose inspiration Srila Vyasadeva compiled this Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, who is talking about that Hari se bada Hari ka naam, that even the holy name is bigger than the Krishna himself, the personality himself. This is what? This is the crux of Srimad Bhagavatam. But first Srimad Bhagavatam has to come now. So Srila Vyasadeva will be, yes, of course, we have foreseen all this and he will be doing all this.
Okay,
in the future verses we will see. Yes. So text 19. Chaturhotram karma shuddham prajanam viksha vaidikam vyadata yagna santatyai vedam ekam chaturvidham. Anybody can read the translation?
He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men.
So what it's been mentioned here is that what Srila Vyasadeva did is that Srila Vyasadeva Chaturhotram Karma Shuddham. So Chaturhotram means the 4 kind of sacrificial fires. So this we can understand in 2 ways. First is that there are 4 divisions of sacrifices. Okay. So the 4 divisions of sacrifices, they are, first is Homa. We know Homa is just a yagna done when we offer some oblations in the fire with the ghee and other substances. Then comes Ishti. Ishti is that there is no fire as such, but we use some oblations like liquids like milk, yogurt, but there is no fire as such. Then comes Pashu, when the sacrifice of an animal comes into being. And last is Soma, which is the most complex type, where it involves the preparation of offering some Soma drink to the Devatas. But our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he mentions about this Chaturhotram Karma Shuddham, that there are 4 kind of priests also involved in, see, who does this sacrifice? For their Karma Shuddham, for the purification of their karma, of their activities. They perform this Homa. So if they are performing that Homa, or you can say the fire sacrifice, so the 4 kind of priests, so Chaturhotram can also refer to the, as per Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that Chaturhotram also refers to 4 kind of sacrificial fires. That means 4 kind of priests that are involved in this Homa, in this Yagna process. And what are the 4 kinds of priests? The first kind of the priest is actually, he is known as Hota. Hota means one who offer the ghee or the articles in that fire. One who offers. Okay. The second Brahmana, the second priest is Udgata. Udgata is the one who recites the mantras. Nowadays, we see when we call the priest to do some yajna, we see the person who is coming or the priest who is coming, he is only setting up everything. He is only arranging everything. He is only chanting mantras and he is only offering ghee into the fire. But in the previous yogas, it was not like this because all these processes are being defined in various divisions of Vedas. Veda was one at that time and it was known as Yajur Veda. But first line we have to understand about these four kind of priests. In the previous yugas, when these sacrifices were performed, so one priest was Hota. Hota means he used to offer the oblations in the fire. Next was Udgata. Udgata refers to a person who recites the mantras as the ghee is offered in the fire. Then the third is known as Advaryu. Advaryu is the one who prepare, who arranges for all the items that is needed for any sacrifice. And the final is known as the Brahma. Brahma means the one who is the supervisor, who looks that everything is going right in place. Okay, who takes care of it, who supervise the entire yajna. So these were the four. And so then the verse says that, so Chaturhotram karma shuddham prajanam vikshavadikam. So according to this Vedic rites, these four kinds of priests were involved. Vyadhad yagna santatai. Santatai means to expand. Vedam ekam chaturvidham. So this one Veda was divided into four by Srila Vyasadeva. So he was the one who divided this one Veda into four in order to expand them among men. So Prabhupada writes, formerly there was only one Veda and that was Yajur Veda. And four divisions of sacrifice were there specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into four divisions of sacrifice just to purify the occupational service of the four orders. That is Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. Rig, Yajur, Sam, and Atharv. And then he also compiled Puranas, Mahabharat, and Samhitas, and they are known as the fifth Veda. Srila Vyasadeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities, and they were very kind and sympathetic towards the fallen souls of this age of Kali. And as such, Puranas and the Mahabharats were made from related historical facts which explain the teachings of the four Vedas, but they are explained in a story form. There is no point in doubting the authority of Puranas and Mahabharats as part and parcels of the Vedas. Of course, there is no doubt. And in the Chandogya Upanishad, generally, Puranas and Mahabharata, generally in the known as histories, are mentioned as the fifth Veda. So therefore, they cannot be, you cannot doubt about their authority. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, that is the way of ascertaining the respective values of the revealed scriptures. So yes, because everybody coming in the Kali Yuga, not everybody can read these Vedas. First of all, it was just one Veda. So Vyasadeva divided. He did the division. And therefore, his name is also Vyasa. Krishna Dwapayana Veda Vyasa. That is the full name of Srila Vyasadeva. So Dvipayana, again, because he took shelter of a dweep, of an island, he appeared in an island, and he is Krishna. He is in the Shaktavesh avatar of Lord Shri Krishna. So Krishna Dvapayana Veda Vyasa. And Vyasa, actually in Hindi, the diameter of the circle is known as Vyasa. So he divided the circle into four equal halves. So therefore his name is Veda Vyasa. He divided that Veda into four equal parts. So he is known as Vyasadeva. So because he did it, he did it for the benefit of people in general. How it's going to benefit, that we will see. Now here there is one thing that I would like to share. It's again from Srimad Bhagavatam. See. ऋक् अथर्व यजु सामं ऋषिर उद्रात वर्गश चतर्ष संहितश्चक्रे मंत्रेर्मणि गणा इवा. Srila Vyasadeva separated the mantras of the Rig, Atharva, Yajur and Samavedas into 4 divisions, just as one sorts out the mixed collection of jewels into piles. Thus, he composed the 4 distinct Vedic literatures. So, he was not the composer, but he was the compiler of the Vedas. The mantras of the Vedas were there, but it was just like the collection of jewels into piles. He separated them and placed them into different orders. So Prabhupada in his purport light, when Lord Brahma first spoke the 4 Vedas with his 4 mouths, the mantras were mixed together like an unsorted collection of the various types of jewels. Srila Vyasadeva sorted the Vedic mantras into 4 divisions, and thus they became recognizable as Rig, Atharva, Yajur and Sam. But previously it was only Yajur Veda. So I just want to highlight this point. Text 20, right here. So, Rig, Yaju, Sam, Tharvakya, Vedas, Chatvara, Uddharata, Itihasa, Puranam cha, Panchamo Veda Uchyate. You all can even understand the verse also. Yes, translation, somebody can read.
The 4 divisions of the original sources of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the 5th Veda.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So its first is Rig, Yaju, Sama, and Atharva. These are known as Akhya. Akhya means these are the names of the 4 Vedas. Vedas Chatvara Udharata. They are divided into 4 separate parts. And whereas Itihasa Puranam, they are also known as the 5th Veda, that is the Pancham Veda. Tatrarveda paila samago jaimani kavi vaishampayano vaiko nishnato yajusham uta. So now all these 4 Vedas are divided. So somebody has to take care of them. So he divided these Vedas into 4 divisions, and also he appointed the 4 different his own disciples as the professors of these 4 Vedas. So somebody can read the translation. Somebody can. Go ahead, Vimal.
After the Vedas were divided into 4 divisions, Paila Rishi became the professor of the Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of the Sama Veda, and Vaishampayana became glorified by the Yajur Veda.
Yeah. So right now in this verse, the 3 are being mentioned, that Paila Rishi was in charge of Rig Veda. These are also the disciples of Srila Vyasadeva. Paila Rishi, Jaimani Rishi, and Vaishampayana, and the 4th will come in the next. All these 4 were the disciples of Srila Vyasadeva. So Paila Rishi was given the charge of Rig Veda, Jaimini Rishi was the professor of Samaveda, and Vaishampayana Rishi was the professor of Yajur Veda. Text 32. Atharvanga Girisham Asit Samantur Daruno Muni Itihasa Puranam Pita Mero Maharshana. Okay, before somebody can read that. Yeah, okay, Satyam Prabhu, you have raised your hand, but you can read the translation and then we'll ask what question you have.
Sure, Mataji, thank you. The Sumantu Muni, Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with the Atharva Veda. and my father, Romaharshana, was entrusted with the Puranas and the historical records.
Yeah, so the fourth part, that is the Atharva Veda. The professor was Muni Angira, Sumanta Muni Angira. He was also the disciple of Srila Vyasadeva, and he was entrusted with Atharva Veda. He became the professor of Atharva Veda. And my father, because this verse was spoken by whom? By Suta Goswami.
Suta Goswami.
Saying, yes, thank you. So he's saying that my father, Roma Harshana, he was given in charge of the fifth Veda, that is Puranas and all the Itihasas, the historical records. So in the Shruti mantras, also it is stated that the Angira Muni, who strictly followed the rigid principles of Atharva Veda, was the leader of the followers of Atharva Veda. So you have to remember all these five kinds of the professors and the Vedas. So Rig Veda was by Paila Rishi. Samaveda, Jaimini Rishi was the professor. Yajur Veda, Vaishampayana was there. And Atharva Veda, Angira Muni was there. And for Puranas and Itihasas, it was Roma Harshana. And these are all disciples of Srila Vyasadeva, and these disciples then further gave charge to their own disciples. So that means Vyasadeva disciples and the grand disciples from various these branches are coming. They were in charge for these different kinds of Vedas. Okay, yes, Satyam Prabhu, now go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, first of all, thank you for the nice class as usual. So I have two questions, Mataji. One is, these verses, when Vyasadeva is dividing the Vedas into four and giving those to his disciples, these incidents were before Parikshit Maharaj and the conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami?
Oh, yes. This happened before that. Way before that.
Okay.
Because Sukadeva Goswami, the conversation that took place between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj was Srimad Bhagavatam. Right now, Srimad Bhagavatam has not appeared. Vyasa is still dividing these Vedas. Right?
Okay. So this is even before he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And at this point of time, also, this is like a not in the written form, right? It's still like Shruti.
Yeah,
Shastra?
yes.
Okay,
Later
yeah.
he will bring it into. So that's what we will see. We'll see in the future verses that even after doing so much of work, Vyasadeva was feeling very disheartened, very despondent that, oh, I haven't done anything.
Okay, but these were all like still like Shruti, right? So it was passed. It was not a written format, correct?
No.
So do you know like at what point of time it was like in a written format, all these Vedas, or we don't have any kind of written format of these Vedas?
See, when the Vedas appeared, it was only spoken by Brahma. Okay? We saw in this verse, that Srimad Bhagavatam verse we saw, that when Brahma spoke these four Vedas from his four mouths, the mantras were all mixed together. Later, Vyasadeva sorted out and divided into four. So when he did, it became not only the Shruti, but the Smriti Shastra. So that means he already compiled it. He compiled it and he dedicated all this to his five disciples, the fifth Veda also. But Srimad Bhagavatam has yet not come into being.
Okay. Do we have this in our scripture, like in India or somewhere, like in written format, all these Vedas?
I think so. We do have. At least I know about Rig Veda, it is there.
Okay.
It's there. Because once His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu showed me the entire Rig Veda. He has the entire copy.
Okay. I know like there are invaders and they like destroyed a lot of our scriptures.
I know. But Rig Veda he showed me. I don't know about the others.
And someone also told me like whatever we have preserved today, I heard like that's like a very probably not even 10%. Others were like all
Of course.
destroyed.
Of course. It's not. So therefore, we should just focus on Srimad Bhagavatam. And gladly, because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have Srimad Bhagavatam now. So that is the greatest benefit we have.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes, Narhari Prabhu.
Mataji, actually, I had the same question that Satyam Prabhu had, and I asked the same question to Haripashit Prabhu. So told me that in the 60s, the government of India, they actually had a program where they were able to capture all the Vedic literature and digitize them. So said that if you go to archive.org, the website, he said all the Vedic literatures, all the four Vedas are present in digital form on the website, which this was because of a Government of India initiative. So, so I just wanted to share that. So if people say, "Oh, we don't have that," yes, it is there somehow by some pious works or thoughts of someone. They preserved the actual Shruti, which was compiled by Vyasadev, in a format that all of us can consume. But like you said, yeah, we don't have neither the intelligence nor the depth. So
To
it's just,
read or to understand. We don't
yeah,
have that intelligence. So let's focus on Srimad Bhagavatam.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll continue one or two more verses and then we'll stop. Ta eta rishayo vedam swam samvyasan anekada shishya parishishya stachishya vedascha shakhino bhavan. Yes. Narhari Prabhu, you can go ahead with the translation.
All these learned scholars, in their turn, rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being.
So, the original source, Prabhupada writes, the original source of all the knowledge is the Vedas, and there are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original text of the Vedas. They have simply been developed into various different branches, and they were originally rendered by great, respectable, and learned professors. And in other words, the Vedic knowledge, broken into different branches by different disciplic successions, has been distributed all over the world. No one can therefore can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas. And if somebody is doing it, that means he's an imposter. So everything is coming from the Vedas only. Ta eva veda dhurmeder dharyante parusharyatha evam chakara bhagavan vyasa kripana vatsala. Anybody can read the translation?
Can I, Mataji?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thus, the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated. I'm sorry, I'm not able. Assimilated by less intellectual men.
Yeah. So he divided the one so that everybody can take benefit out of it, because everybody cannot do it. Sa eta rishayo vedam. Swam vyasan. He divided anekada into 4 points and then shishya. So now in this, he says, Sa eva veda dhurmedhir. Dhurmedhir means those who are less intelligent. They cannot understand. So they cannot understand this Veda. So taking them into account, Chakara Bhagavan Vyasa. So here Vyasadev is also referred to as Bhagavan. So we have discussed this also because in Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni, when Lord Shiva and Vyasadev, they are sometimes addressed as Bhagavan because they are great saintly people. And of course, Lord Shiva is also sometimes referred to as Bhagavan. So, evam chakara. Chakara means he was the one who edited. Bhagavan Vyasa Kripana Vatsala, because he was very kind to the ignorant people. So Prabhupada writes, the Veda is one, and the reason for its division in many parts are explained herewith. The seed of all knowledge or the Veda is not the subject matter which can easily be understood by an ordinary man. It is very difficult. Okay. We need someone who can explain, who can facilitate, who can help us, who can make it easy so that we can understand. Otherwise, all knowledge are there in the Vedas, but somebody needs to help us understand this, because Sanskrit is the language which has different meanings to it. Okay, in this regard also, I was being explained by His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu that there is a words, it says, Keshava, okay, I'll recollect it again. Right now I'm forgetting. But the point is that every word in Sanskrit has a different meaning. There is a stricture that no one should try to understand the Vedas who is not a qualified Brahmana. This stricture has been wrongly interpreted in so many ways. A class of men who claim Brahmanical qualifications simply by their birthright in the family of a Brahmana claim that the study of the Vedas is a monopoly of the Brahmana caste only. But that should not be the case. Another section of the people take this as an injustice to the members of other castes who do not happen to take birth in the Brahmana family. So both of them are misguided. The Vedas are subjects which has to be explained even to Brahmaji by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional qualities of goodness. Not everybody can understand. Persons who are in the mode of passion and ignorance are unable to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. And the ultimate goal of the Vedic knowledge is Sri Krishna. Vedescha sarve eva vedyo. This personality is very rarely understood by those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance. In the Satyuga, everyone was situated in the mode of goodness. See, again, here also Prabhupada gives. So in Satya Yuga, everyone was situated in the mode of goodness. Gradually, this mode of goodness deteriorates during Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga. So here also Prabhupada is saying it's Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. And the general mass of people becomes corrupt. In the present age of mode of goodness is almost nil. We are all the tamasic people or rajasic. And so for the general mass of people, the kind-hearted, powerful Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas into various parts so that even the less intelligent people, those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance, can also understand. And that will be explained in the next shloka. So point I was telling is, still not able to remember that verse, but it says Kesham.
Put it in the chat, Mataji. You can see it in the chat.
Oh, you have done it. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Keshavam patitam drishtva pandavam harsha bhidara rudanti kaurava sarve ha ha Keshava Keshava. Thank you, Preeti Vilasni Mataji. So here the word Keshava, now Keshavam patitam drishtam. To see, Keshava means Lord Krishna. To see Lord Krishna fall down. Pandava harsha bhidana. The Pandavas were very happy. Rudanti Kaurava, and all the Kauravas were crying. Saha, they were just calling out, Ha Keshava, oh Krishna, what has happened, what has happened. Now we know that this thing has never happened, but the internal meaning is different. It says Keshavam patitam drishtva. Ke means seeing the dead body. Seeing the dead body, patitam, seeing the dead body lying down on the riverbed. Pandava Harshabhi, all the Pandavas, Pandava means those who are fishes. Pandu also means the fishes, those who are born from the eggs. So they were very happy. Why? Because they know that now they can feast. They can feast on this dead body. But Rudanti Kaurava, all the land animals like foxes, wolves, they were crying, Keshava, Keshava, oh, now this dead body, because they cannot go and feast on that dead body. So see, the whole message was changed. The whole description got changed. So Mataji has mentioned about this verse, you can see in the chat. So this is how we need someone who can explain the Vedas to us. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand on our own. But so that even the less intelligent people, like those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance, and less intelligent people can understand the Vedas, Vyasadeva compiled and divided the Vedas into 4 equal halves. So should we go with text 25? Okay, 25 has a long purport. Okay, let's finish it off. We have 6 more minutes. Stri Shudra Dvija Bandhunam Traina Shruti Gochara Kramashreyasi Mudhanam Shreya Evam Bhavet Iha Iti Bharatam Akhyanam Kripaya Munina Kritam. Somebody can read the translation.
Out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this world enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus, he compiled the great historical narration called the Mahabharata for women, laborers, and the friends of the twice born teacher.
So Vyasadeva, Prabhupada is writing that out of compassion, this Vyasadeva, it is wise that this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. So to go beyond this cycle of birth and death is the adhikar of all the living entities. It's not the adhikar of only the Brahmana. Thus he compiled this narration of Mahabharata. Then Prabhupada writes for women, laborers, and the friends of the twice born. That is for the Stri, for Shudras, and for Dvija Bandhus or the Brahma Bandhu. So again, those who are really feminists, they fight on this, that why Prabhupada says that women are less intelligent. But the point we have to understand is that women are emotionally attached. So they cannot understand the practicality of everything that they come across. Now here, Prabhupada is not degrading the situation of women. Please don't take it into that way. I know I came across one lady who was coming to our Bhakti Vriksha, and as soon as she got to read all this, she left Bhakti Vriksha and she said, no, I cannot accept this. That how the women are considered to be the less intelligent. So we have to understand that actually the Prakriti or the nature or the feminine quality is that they are emotion. They are very, very emotionally attached. So we don't have to take Prabhupada's word otherwise, that women are less intelligent. Prabhupada never said that. He always have said that all my disciples, women disciples, they are Vaishnavas. Vaishnavis, they are all equal. But those women who are into this world, who are not spiritually sound, they are so much emotionally attached that they cannot understand the practicality of life. Of course, they are very less intelligent. Okay, so this is the point that is very important that we have to understand. So the friends of the twice born families are also who are born in the families of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas, or the spiritually cultured families, but who themselves are not equal to their forefathers. So they are known as Brahma Bandhus. Such descendants are not recognized for the want of purificatory achievements. So the purificatory achievement start with Garbhadhana Samskar. When the man and the woman, they come together and they have this desire to have a child, the seed giving reformatory process, and this is known as Garbhadhana Samskar. And after that, one who has not undergone such Garbhadhana Samskar or spiritual family planning is not accepted as being as an actual twice born family. The Garbhadhana Samskar is followed by Upanayana Samskar, the sacred thread giving ceremony. This is performed at the time of spiritual initiation. After this particular Samskar, one is rightly called twice born or Dvija. Now, one birth is calculated during the seed-giving samskaras, and the second birth is calculated at the time of initiation, that is Upanayana Samskara. One who has been able to undergo such important samskaras, they are known as a bona fide Dvija Bandhu. Dvijas, not Dvija Bandhu, but it's Dvijas, the twice born. Now, if the father and mother do not undertake the process of spiritual family planning and beget children out of passion only, their children are known as Dvija Bandhus. And these Dvija Bandhus, though they are certainly not as intelligent as the children of the regular twice-born families. These Dvija Bandhus are classified with the Shudras and the woman class, who are by nature, they are very less intelligent. The Shudras and the women class do not have to undergo any samskara save and accept the ceremony of marriage. But we know by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, today even the Vaishnavis are getting this samskara, this second initiation, that is the adhikar to chant Gayatri mantras. Yes, we are officially not given thread, but this initiation process is also being given to women by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So the less intelligent class of men, namely women, Shudras, and unqualified sons of the higher caste, are devoid of necessary qualifications to understand the purpose of the transcendental Vedas, because they are not very spiritually enlightened. For them, the Mahabharata was prepared so that it's easy to understand the message of the Vedas, but through stories. The purpose of Mahabharata is to administer the purpose of the Vedas. And therefore, within the Mahabharata, what is there? Bhagavad Gita is placed. So therefore, the less intelligent are more interested in stories than in philosophy. And therefore, the philosophy of the Vedas in the form of Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Lord Shri Krishna. Vyasadeva and Lord Shri Krishna were both on transcendental plane, and therefore they collaborated in doing good for the fallen souls of this age. The Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. So if these women or the laborer class, these Shudras, everybody has an access to Bhagavad Gita, what else to be known? Because it is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. It is the first book of spiritual values, as the Upanishads are. Bhagavad Gita is known as Gitopnishad, right? So the Vedanta philosophy is the subject matter for the study of spiritual graduates. So therefore, Prabhupada says that Bhagavad Gita is for undergrad. Then comes Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the commentary on Vedanta Sutras. That is for the graduates. And finally, how to enter into this spiritual and devotional service of the Lord is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his own charitra. So therefore, Prabhupada says Chaitanya Charitamrita is the postgraduate study. Okay, so this is the Praman where Prabhupada says. So only the postgraduate spiritual student can enter into the spiritual or devotional service of the Lord, and it's a great science, and the great professor in the Lord himself in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained this philosophy. And persons who are empowered by him can initiate others in the transcendental loving service of the God. So we will stop here and we will continue this on Tuesday. So thank you all so much. I know 3 minutes we took extra, but I want to finish this section. Okay. Anybody has any comments? Please go ahead. Any questions?
Thank you, Mataji. It was really a wonderful session because it is little difficult portions were there and you made it so simple for us. Thank you so much. Dandavat pranams, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Anyone else has anything to add? Okay. If not, then we can stop here. And we will see you all next Tuesday. We'll try to finish the chapter next Tuesday. And if needed, then we can also cover the summary of the 5th chapter.
Mataji, kindly give us a message about when we can paste our the material book.
Mataji, we are still working on it, and as soon as we are able to go through all that and we are able to resolve that issue, we will let you know on the WhatsApp. I hope you are there on the WhatsApp group.
Yes, Mataji, we're all there.
So there only the message will come as soon as the issue is resolved, and then you can finish it up. It's good you are getting extra time.
No, we have completed, Mataji, but I don't know.
Awesome.
Thank you.
As soon as the issue is resolved, we'll post it, and then you can.
So you try to put in try to paste, but then it doesn't take it up. Maybe I am not technically sound. I thought it's for everyone.
Yeah, it's for everyone. I don't know. Something got messed up by the backend team, and they are also not able to figure
I
out.
tried with the drive also, Mataji, but even then it didn't go. So I can put it. I thought I can paste with the drive, but I think
just hold on to it, Mataji.
Okay.
As soon as it is resolved, we'll let you know. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you so much. Yes,
Mataji. Mataji, I mean, I found a workaround. So if I am able to do it through that, should I go ahead and do it or not? Or should I wait?
See, if you are able to do it, go ahead.
Okay.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much. Yes, Sankari Mataji.
Mataji, I just want to thank you, Mataji, for this wonderful class and also for that explanation of Dwapar, Treta, and Kali, the way you explained it. Like, okay, Dwapar comes before Kali because it's the double of Kali, and then Treta is before Dwapar because it's the 3 times of Kali. And then that was such a logical explanation, Mataji. I guess that really works, at least for me. So thank you so much for bringing that to light. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Okay, dear devotees, then we'll stop here and we'll see you all next Tuesday. Let's pay obeisances. Vanchakal patarubhischa kripasindhu vaja patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Anant koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. All the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Ending.
you so much, Mataji.